We are in 2020 where flagship killers are becoming flagships, and we are being introduced to a new term, flagship killers. Doesn't make sense, right? Well, nothing does in 2020. This Redmi K20 Pro is one of those flagship killers. So is it still relevant in 2020? Or buying this device doesn't make sense anymore? Hey guys, this is Shivam, and today we'll be reviewing Redmi K20 Pro. So let's get started. Let's do a quick unboxing and see the contents of the box. First we have phone itself, SIM ejector tool, 18-watt charger, but the phone also supports 27-watt fast charging, Type-C cable, and a pretty good matte black back case, which I lost within 2 days. Well, there are still some brands which ship with 5-watt fast charger, which is pretty sad in 2020. Now let's come to design. K20 Pro has a glass sandwich design with Gorilla Glass 5 on front as well as on the back. It has a 6.39-inch Full HD Plus AMOLED display with no notch, no punch hole cutouts, or whatever the brands like to call it, straight up screen, which is great. Redmi has given a fine carbon fiber texture design on the back. There is a triple camera setup with red colored accent on the main camera. This device also comes with two other flashy colors, Glacier Blue and Flame Red, which you can buy if you want to show the wild side of yours. Well, I'll stick to the black one. On the right side, we have volume rockers and a power key with red accent. It's really good when brands give importance to small detailing. On the bottom, we have Type-C port, speaker grills and dual SIM slot with no memory card expansion. Flip the device and you get this ancient relic. Yes, this device has 3.5mm headphone jack. I know it's 2020, but I'm still not over it. Then we have pop-up selfie camera, which also has a notification light. Xiaomi has made a pretty sleek phone here. The size is compact and your thumb can reach the other side of the screen as well. So the single hand use is pretty comfortable. That's a 10 on 10 for Xiaomi in terms of design. Or is it Redmi? Well, they should do something about the name. Coming to the display, it has got a 6.39-inch Full HD Plus AMOLED display. As you can see, the bezels are minimal, color reproduction is accurate, colors are punchy, sharp, blacks are deep, and it also supports HDR10. So the overall media consumption experience is pretty great on this device. Also, this device has a pretty good speaker output as well. But this phone has a 60Hz panel, as when this phone was launched back in 2019, high refresh rate was not a big thing. 60Hz panel shouldn't be a major problem if you are coming from a 60Hz device. Unfortunately, I have used 120Hz refresh rates, so I can see the visible difference. But you get used to it eventually in some time. Overall, the display quality is pretty amazing, and believe me, you won't get disappointed. Coming to hardware, this device is powered by Snapdragon 855 and Adreno 640 GPU. It comes in two variants, 6 128GB and 8 256GB. Snapdragon 855 is last year's flagship processor, so you shouldn't be worried about the performance. It can handle everything you throw at it without breaking a sweat. Apps open up faster, switching between apps is smooth, there is no lags or no frame drops. Overall, the performance is top notch. Coming to software, this device runs on MIUI 11, which is based on Android 10. Well, MIUI 11 is nowhere near the stock UI and it is heavily skinned, but it's still snappy and well optimized. It comes with Poco Launcher out of the box, which has an app drawer, and yes, there are some customization features as well. Well, there are some pre-installed bloatware, but you can uninstall most of it. MIUI 12 has already been launched in China, and K20 Pro is supposed to get the official global ROM update by somewhere around June or July. If you want a separate video on new features of MIUI 12, comment down below and let me know. MIUI has some additional features as well. For example, there is a dedicated theme store which lets you customize your device. If you want a separate video on Android customizations, just put it down in the comment section. MIUI 11 also has always on display, and it lets you customize the picture that you want to show on the display. There are a lot of different clock styles and images as well. Now let's talk about the cameras. It has got a triple camera setup at the back with 48 megapixel primary, 8 megapixel telephoto and 13 megapixel ultra wide lens. Coming to primary camera, which is 48 megapixel Sony IMX586, which is one of the most popular sensors from 2019, which we saw even in OnePlus 7 series. It produces good images with pretty good dynamic range. Camera UI is pretty similar to other Xiaomi devices. There is a portrait mode, a night mode, and there is a dedicated pro mode as well. 8 megapixel telephoto lens can take up to 2x optical and 10x digital zoom. Then we have 13 megapixel ultra wide with 124.8 degrees field of view. While the ultra wide lens takes a minor hit in terms of quality when compared with the main lens, the images produced are still decent. Coming to video recording, this device can record up to 4K 60 fps. There is no optical image stabilization, but EIS is present. As you can see, the video is pretty shaky in 4K 60 fps. On switching to 1080p 60 fps, the stabilization is little better. As you can see, the autofocusing is pretty fast and accurate. Finally, let's address the elephant in the room. Well, not this one. The 20 megapixel pop-up selfie camera. It has got a cool light and sound effect when you open the camera, and it comes with a drop protection where the camera goes in when you drop the phone. Redmi also claims that this phone has undergone a 300k times pop-up test. When motorized camera setup was introduced in the mainstream flagship phones, everyone was skeptical about its durability and wear and tear stuff. But since then, we did not hear about any major issues in the motorized camera setup. So I think it's fine to have a pop-up selfie camera, as it lets brands make a full screen true bezel-less display. And it's better than having a notch or a punch hole cutout. Well, it surely looks cool, but it's not the best selfie camera that you can get in this price segment. Here are some of the samples. This one is taken from stock camera app. This one is from Gcam, and as you can see, the details are much better in Gcam. This one is from the primary camera. The ultra wide shot. As you can see, there is minor dip in the quality when compared with the main camera. Zoomed in shot from the primary camera. 2x telephoto shot, which preserves details much better than the zoomed in primary camera shot. Some night shots. This one is from the Gcam port. As you can see, the details are much better in the Gcam port. If you want to install Gcam port in your phone, I'll be posting a link in the description for the APK file. There is a dedicated vlogging mode as well, which might give you seizures. I don't remember doing this. That's not me, guys. I don't know this guy. Coming to the gaming department, Snapdragon 855 and Adreno 640 GPU handle games without breaking a sweat. Call of Duty Mobile runs on the highest graphics possible. There are no frame drops, no lags, and the gameplay is pretty smooth. K20 Pro also has liquid cooling, so it lets you play games for a longer duration of time and it maintains the temperatures. There is a dedicated game booster as well, which lets you change the display settings of your phone. You can increase or decrease brightness, contrast, and you can set different touch responses for separate games. And if you want to text in between your game and if you want to see a walkthrough, this game booster lets you do so with the help of floating windows. It also lets you take a screenshot and record your gameplay. So if you are into mobile gaming, there won't be any complaints from K20 Pro side. Well, rest is up to you. Yep, that's what I was talking about. Okay, so let's talk about haptics. For a flagship phone as claimed by Redmi, the vibration motor is just not that great. Poco X2 has better vibration motor as compared to K20 Pro. And I think good haptics add up to your premium experience. While it's not that bad, it's not great either. Is Redmi K20 Pro still relevant in 2020? Well, here is the thing. A flagship phone and a flagship processor tends to age better with time. Plus, system updates are pushed to these devices for a longer duration of time. So if you want a flagship processor and you're okay with 60Hz panel and you hate notches and punch-hole displays, whatever they like to call it, then K20 Pro is your device. But if higher refresh rate is your first priority and you're okay with a mid-range processor, say 730G, then I think Poco X2 will be a better option for you. One more thing guys, since K30 Pro has already been launched in China for around 2,999 yuan, which translates to around 31,000 Indian rupees. Plus, Poco F2 Pro, which is a rebranded K30 Pro, was launched recently on 12th of May globally. And its price was around 499 euros, which translates to around 40,000 Indian rupees. Well, we have single phone, two different prices and two different names. Well, as I said, 2020 doesn't make any sense anymore. Well, Poco F2 Pro is definitely a better phone as compared to K20 Pro. Better cameras, better processor and 5G enabled. But it still has 60Hz panel. Plus, it will be priced somewhere between 30,000 to 40,000. So, if you're on a tighter budget and you want pretty powerful processor, then K20 Pro is the cheapest phone running on Snapdragon 855. Is K20 Pro a waste of money? Well, I don't think so. For 25,000, you're getting a top class display, powerful processor, pretty good camera setup, and a battery life that could get you through a day pretty easily. So, it's a relevant device in 2020. That's it for today's video. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, share it with your friends, write your feedback in the comment section. This is Shivam and I'll catch you guys in the next one.